Okay, got it.
Great. Well, hello, everyone. Am I in here? I think this is where I want to share. I want to make sure. Gina, can you see my screen?
I can.
Okay. Sure. Let me close that out so that I'm not getting an echo. Sorry for the delay. Let's close that out. Okay. I think we are ready. Let me get us out of the way. Sorry, taking a second here. There we go. There we go. Okay, everybody good? Can you see that?
I can.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. We are going to talk about meal planning and prepping. I'm here with my friend, health coach Gina. We're really excited to be here with you guys today. This is one of our favorite topics to discuss, and it's also a topic, a nice meaty chapter in the book that we co-wrote called Stop Chasing Wellness. So on that note, we invite you to check out our website so you can purchase a copy of the book. And you can also see the online wellness coaching programs that Gina and I offer. In fact, we're right in the middle of our New Gut, New You winter detox currently. And starting April 1st, we're going to have a spring reset online wellness coaching program available for you to run through with us. And we also now offer a monthly recipe subscription. So you can check all that out on our website, stopchasingwellness.com. And then you can email us at support@stopchasingwellness.com. And you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram just by the name Stop Chasing Wellness. So let's get right into it. So we're ready to talk about meal planning and prepping. We know that this can be a really overwhelming topic for people. In fact, even when we co-wrote the book, it was kind of probably one of the hardest chapters to write, to kind of, how do we encapsulate all of this and put it into something that's going to be something everybody can kind of get their head around. So I feel like that the question of what's for dinner that happens to all of us every day is probably the worst question you can hear every day. So having a plan is something that can help take the stress out of that daunting question. So that what's for dinner question. So kind of having that thought out, having a plan puts a lot of control back in your life, and it creates a little bit of peace. So when we talk about meal planning, what does that mean? And it literally, I think, like it says here, it's a pretty hot topic. People are all about the meal plan and prep. And I think part of the reason for that is that everybody's really super, super busy. But learning how to meal plan and prep is really just learning how to figure out how this works for you. So you want to decide your meals in advance, use a schedule, find the groceries, find the recipes that you like, planning around everybody's busy schedule, your allergies, your preferences. It can be a lot of work, but when you figure out how to do it, it can also be the best thing that you do, because you don't have to think so much about it. Once you get better at this, like at first it can feel like a chore. When you get better at this, you can learn how to plan for a whole week. I try to plan for just 5 days at a time because I have time for that. I know Gina does this once a week. And some people take it even further, and you can plan weeks out so that you're going to the grocery store less and less because you have a plan to, you have your plan to fall back on. And the first thing you want to do is start with creating a menu. So if you're going to plan for a week or a month, you need to think about what your week or your month look like. You can plan every single meal. We also love to plan meals where you can make more than you need for that, like double a recipe. We'll talk a little bit about that so that you can cook once and eat twice. You can plan for leftovers. You can plan, whether you're going to use the leftovers for another meal, like a dinner, a lunch, put things in the freezer. You want to also plan, when you're planning your menu, planning for breakfast, lunches, dinners, even snacks, things like that. You can even have things like your cheat days, or having those meals planned means less cheat days. So when you think through your menu options for your breakfast, lunches, and dinners, you want to make sure like every meal should include the macronutrition, your protein, carbs, and fats. In every meal, you want to plan to have lots of veggies in your meals, choosing lean proteins, lean meats, Before you start planning, check in your pantry, fridge, and freezer, see what you already have on hand. It can reduce the amount of food that you're buying at the grocery store, reduce the amount that you're wasting. We're all about making sure that things are budget friendly, and groceries are expensive. Prices have not gone down recently, if anybody's noticed. So we really like being able to utilize the most out of everything that you have on hand, so that this should be something that saves you money instead of costing you more money. So you want to try to get to the grocery store less, not more, because if you go to the store with a plan, buy what you need, it should cost you less money and take less time out of your day. So when you get there, get all the things that you need in that one trip, go in with your list, go with the plan, stick to your list. As part of your menu, you're going to want to think about a budget and think about how you can make things overlap. Buy things that you can buy, like if chicken breasts are on sale, buy more than you need for that 1 week. You can always individually portion things and wrap them and freeze them. And so that you have them on hand, like I said, because before you go to the grocery store, you're going to be thinking, what do I have in the pantry, fridge, and freezer? Well, if you have the chicken or the ground turkey that you bought a week or two ago in the freezer, you can utilize that and help cut the costs. Look at your menu. I love to use or look for recipes that you can put on your menu. I personally love using Pinterest as a place to save and store those recipes so that I have them. So I have them on hand, so I know what my menu is going to be. If I'm trying to get creative about my menu, I can look on Pinterest and pull things off based on what I have. Like if I have ground turkey in the freezer, I can look for recipes for ground turkey and I can utilize what I already have on hand. Sit down and spend some time planning your menu. I like to look at, like I said, look at the recipes, look at Pinterest, save those things, and try to find I'll do it on a Sunday morning when I'm having coffee, because Monday morning is when I like to go grocery shopping, or Monday afternoon, and try to minimize the amount of time I'm spending spinning my wheels. So I'm planning my menu. I have a place to save my menus and my make a grocery list based on Pinterest. I have a plan. I get to the grocery store. I spend some time shopping. When I come home, I'm going to do some food prep to get some food done. So I'm going to spend some time doing some cooking and think about how much time am I going to need to cook these meals. Some meals take longer. So find a time in your week to carve out times. For a lot of us, it's Saturday or Sunday mornings. For people that work a normal Monday through Friday, but maybe you're a nurse and you work nights, and maybe Monday mornings are a better time for you to do some cooking and do all your prepping. People I plan my meals one day and then I'll grocery shop another day. And I know like Gina does a lot of that stuff all in one day, and that's fine. You just have to think about what the time is that works best for you. So when you're thinking about which meals you're going to have on which days, you're also taking your calendar into consideration, and you want to keep that prep time in mind. And you want to choose those easy to finish meals for the days when you're busiest. And like for me, I'll make Sunday like a roast chicken and veggies on a day where I have more time. So making those big batch meals or those recipes that are going to take a longer amount of time, you want to do on the days where you have more time to do them. And also when I do that, I consider like maybe if I make a roast chicken on a Sunday dinner, maybe I'll roast a couple of chickens so that I also have chicken to pick at throughout the week to put on salads, or make a big batch of soup, or make a chili out of one of those chickens. And I can put that in my freezer, because I love having freezer meals on purpose, and I can pull out of the freezer when I didn't have to, I don't have to make this meal from scratch. So also love this idea of batching your ingredients. So when you come home from the grocery store, if you have plans to have like tacos one night for dinner, you can put all of those things together. So put your pantry items into a bag or a bin in your pantry for all the things for the tacos. Put the taco shells and the jar of salsa and the can of beans or anything that you're going to have for tacos that don't need to be refrigerated into a bin with the taco seasoning. And then also put your cold taco ingredients into another bin in your refrigerator. So it makes it easier when it's time for that meal. Even pre-cooking anything that you can. If you can cook the ground turkey with the taco seasoning, put it in a bag in the fridge or in the freezer. And when it's time for taco night, it makes it a whole lot easier to pull out some of that pre-cooked stuff or pre-portioned stuff. So it's already there for you. So, Tina, I don't know what slide I'm on. If I reached my, you tell me when I've reached my break point.
I don't have numbers on mine, so I don't know either.
I think,
Just let me know when you're ready.
okay. So if you can cook anything, where was I here? Cook what you can. So when you can cook, whatever you can cook on that day where you're doing your meal planning and prepping, if you can cook that stuff, like if you can pre-cook a sheet pan dinner or cook the chicken or cook the ground turkey, that's going to help you on a busy night during the week. You can, I'm also a big fan of if there's any rice or quinoa, any grains that you have time, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be that day that you come home from the grocery store. I work from home, so if I'm able to, while I'm sitting at my desk getting some work done, if I can cook a batch of rice or quinoa that I can put on the stove, set a timer, and come back, I can have that stuff done in little increments if that's really all that you have. So when you're putting food into your freezer to extend the life of your fresh foods, you may have purchased things like I said, like ground turkey or chicken when it was on sale. You don't have to, if you buy that big package of chicken because it was on sale, you don't have to use all of that this week before it goes bad. You can individually portion those things and put them in the freezer to have for another night the next time you need it. And I'm a big fan of doubling the batch because then you can have things in the freezer. So make a big, huge batch of soup, make a pot of chili and put those things in the freezer and have those things for when you need it another night. And then I think this is probably a good place to stop. And I'm going to let Gina take over and talking a little bit more about freezer meals.
All right. Wish me luck.
All these things to make life a little bit easier.
I do it?
Yes.
All right. So investing in freezer meals. Think of your freezer as your friend, right? We want to be able to just grab and go as much as we can. A lot of us work during the day. We're busy in the evenings running around. Having that food available makes all the difference. So whether you're putting your favorite recipes, you're cooking them up on that day, it's just like exercise. Let me just backtrack a minute. Just like exercise, the best exercise is one that you like. If you don't like it, you're not going to stick with it. The same thing with meal planning and prepping. If you don't do it on a day that works for you, there's 7 days in a week. There's 24 hours a day. We all don't have to do this at the same time. It's whatever works for you best. So whenever that's your day off or in the evening, or if you're a morning person, get those recipes prepared. You can keep them in baggies or in a dish and then frozen. Keep them frozen for the week. Freezing, rather than having a package of blueberries going old on your counter or in your refrigerator for too long, when they're picked at the peak of ripeness and you put them in your freezer, that's as healthy as you're going to get that food. It's preserving all those nutrients and flavor and the freshness. When you do freeze your meals, make a note on them. What's inside? How do they prepare it? So this way, anybody in the family can do that. They can pull out and have that healthy meal, and they don't need you for it. We have no cook options. Again, it's back to committing to some time to do your grocery shopping and preparing your meals. No cook meal plans are really helpful for many of us. There's a lot of great benefits, including saving you time and energy, never having to turn the stove on, keeps the house cooler. That might be good for Kristen around this time. For me, I want the house as warm as can be, but you still have those healthy choices even without having to cook. So there's several things that we can do to prepare for that. And even though you're not cooking, there's still some work that needs to be put together. We're going to work on creating the menu, planning your grocery trip, and preparing everything together. One option is using pre-cooked meat. That saves a lot of time. And sometimes if the grocery store has grilled chicken that's already prepared, whether you're sauteing, baking, boiling, whatever you're doing with that, you have to obviously constantly watch it to make sure it doesn't burn. But instead of investing time in that, just buy something that's already cooked, like a rotisserie or some pre-cooked grilled chicken breasts. Sometimes you might find at the grocery store, we have a section that usually has pre-chopped up and sliced peppers and carrots that are already chopped. We can work on purchasing any of those things to make things a little bit easier. And a lot of times they're affordable because they don't want them just going old and sitting in the grocery store. So they prep them for grab and go, easy access. Investing in reusable containers. So plastic, right? We're not really fans of plastic. There's a lot of chemicals in there. When you put hot food in there, it's leaching out into your foods, or any food for that matter, it can leach into it. But when you have hot foods in there, the chemicals can leach out into the food, which means they're getting into our bodies. And we want as little chemicals as possible, obviously. You might want to invest in some reusable glass containers. I'm a big fan of the mason jar myself. I know they make some of the square, the stackable, the nesting trays with the top over them that you can make your meals in and store in that. I'm just a big fan of mason jars. It's very easy. I have my refrigerator lined up with my salads, with my soups, everything in there. So that's up to you, whichever you prefer. The glass containers are obviously more expensive than plastic, but they're a healthier product to work with, and they're more longer lasting. So are easy to make. We want to talk about how everybody is different with varying tastes and styles when it comes to meal prep, but the few options that anybody can make and adjust to help. Cooked options for number one, whether you're cooking for your whole family or just for yourself. The best meal prep ideas can bring you back to childhood. They might not have always been the healthiest meals, but they take you back. You can adjust those, tweak those, modernize them a little bit and make them a little bit more healthy. Options are using zucchini noodles, sweet potato casseroles, chicken fajitas, taco bowls, chicken stir fries. And then expand and grow your rotation of cooked options as you go. You can experiment, see what works better as freezer meals, other things that just need to be organized, like Kristen mentioned for taco night, have your pantry bin, have your fridge bin. Don't be afraid of this. This is what's really important. It does seem daunting and overwhelming, and I'd never meal planned before because I wouldn't have even known where to begin to do that. But now it's just become so routine, and you just go through the motions and get it done. All right, so breakfast, here's some no-cook options for breakfast that a lot of times during the week, nobody has time to be messing around in the kitchen in the morning. We're usually up, showered, lunch is made, and on a mission to get the day going. So there's not always time for big Sunday breakfast, right? But you can do healthy things ahead of time, which are making smoothies, yogurt parfaits, and of course the overnight oats, which are always a favorite. Lunches and dinners, things that you can take into the office, or you just don't have the time to spend your entire lunch break cooking up a storm if you're a work at home person like myself. Meal prepping lunch and dinner without having to cook can save you a lot of time. They can be done in advance and kept in the fridge for easy access. Salads can be made up in jars, which I'm a huge fan of. So is Kristen. We have a community of friends that we do that with. Usually on Sunday mornings, we get together, everybody brings their ingredients. We bang out 5 salads real quick and we're done within a half hour. So that's always an option. Mm-hmm. But other ways, you can make some wraps ahead of time. You can make some cold soups or even hot soups to have, just keep them stored. And stuffed veggies are always a favorite. it just goes back to that question again, the what's for dinner. We're tired at the end of the day, right? Most of us are on our feet and running from the moment they touch the floor in the morning. And by the end of the day, nobody wants to be running around to the grocery store. And how come some of us are running around frantic doing all this stuff, why others are just coming home with an easy night and having their food? We all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? It's just how we organize and prioritize them. We'll just repeat again. Let's start by creating that menu that includes the number of meals you're making each week, and how and when you want to have those. What kind of meals are you making? Keep your budget in mind, your recipes and other things. Some people want to just start with meal prepping lunches. Make your five salads for the week and just grab and go. You have them. You can add in some salads. You add in some soups to go along with your salads, and you can maybe make some snacks, some protein balls or things like that, and start small. And you can work your way all the way up to meal prepping for a month at a time, so you always do have food to be grabbing. They all don't need to be freezer meals, but you can use freezer meals, batching options. And then, as I said, you can do this up to the entire month, but include things that are both cooked and non-cooked options. When we mentioned, I think it was you, Kristen, that talked about the quinoa or brown rice, you can make a big batch of that and freeze it in a gallon Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Just make it flat, put it in the freezer, and break off what you need as you go along. It's just an easy thing. How long does rice take to cook, or quinoa? We don't have time for that. When you're at the last minute, oh, I have some cooked chicken breasts, let me pull out some quinoa, add a vegetable, you have a meal right there. It's that simple. So definitely think about your cooked and non-cooked options. And that's a wrap. So we want to thank you for being here with us today, and remind you again that we can be found on both Facebook and Instagram at Stop Chasing Wellness. Our website, stopchasingwellness.com. You can check out our book and the online coaching programs that we have available, and our newly released monthly recipe subscription program, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of great information that's included with that. And if you need to reach us, you can always email us at support@stopchasingwellness.com. If you would like a complimentary consultation, reach out. We're happy to talk to you. And then we also have, do you want to talk about what we are offering, what we have, Kristen, the freebie for?
If you want to, go ahead and email us at support@stopchasingwellness.com and let us know that you would like. Basically, we have a handout that kind of mimics what this PowerPoint was. So you can have a paper copy to download, well, a downloadable copy that you can have forever and ever to refer back to. So it's our little way of saying thank you. And if you'll shoot us an email, we'll get that document over to you.
It's a great little ebook, so you'll be happy to have it.
All right. Are we good?
I think we are good to wrap it up.
Yeah, I hope this was helpful. Thanks, everybody.